Welcome to Curbside Chat. I'm your host, Lorraine Sommerfeld. This vodcast is brought to you by AIA Canada and their fabulous sponsors. It's a chance to speak to our experts on the ground to find out what's happening in this ever-changing auto care sector. Today we're talking about retention. In a quickly evolving world, it's not enough to attract and hire great employees. It's about making sure people want to work for you and with you. How do you create and maintain a great work atmosphere that people want to be part of? And how do you keep that talent happy? And how do you do all that while positioning your company for the future? My guests today have a wide range of thoughts on the topic. Paul Prochilo is the CEO of Simplicity Car Care, and Chris Kinghorn is the Vice President of Digital and Sales Enablement at UAP. Welcome, everyone, to Curbside Chat.
Great to be here.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Paul, you actually began your career in the proverbial family-run business and built the large franchise that Simplicity Car Care is today. How do you know who to hire, and do you always keep growth in mind?
Yeah, I'll answer the second question first. Growth always has to be in mind. We believe adamantly that you set strategy first and structure second in order to execute. So growth is always the strategy. And to answer the first part of your question, we know that people are our governor to growth. And we can only grow, we can only expand as deep as the level of leadership that we have within our organization. So, with that being said, I know we're going to have an unbelievable conversation today, but a few of those points around retaining, which I can't wait to get into, really highlight a multitude of what I'll call different strategies required for us to start to focus on not just our external customer, because they're exceptionally important, they're really our reason for being, but on that pedestal, sharing it is in 1A are the internal customer. Those are our people. And I think if you really want to have a successful strategy at retaining your talent, we need to listen to those internal customers. We need to understand their needs, and we need to drive solutions for them. And when you do that, it's just like any other customer. They're going to be hard pressed to go and find somebody else, right? So that's really the philosophy that we lead with, and I can't wait to get into some of the details today.
Chris, UAP has long been a large-scale operation here in Canada and part of an even bigger North American entity at GPC. Traditional models aren't necessarily working any longer. What are some of the biggest things you've seen in terms of workforce changes?
Great question, Lorraine. We're honestly seeing a clear shift toward hybrid work expectations and more demand for flexibility overall. Flexible working hours, the need for flex time for use for vacation, personal appointments. And then, when we look at allocation of vacation time, recognition for skill set and experience for vacation allotment versus your traditional, earned time through earned hours in the company. So that's a couple shifts. Also, younger generations are looking for purpose-driven careers, right? They really want to see career mapping. They want to be on a journey. They want to know that they're supported and that there's stability. It's not just jobs anymore. It's careers. And then, technology and automation are changing roles. They're changing the scope of roles. They're enhancing the ability for people to perform, creating opportunities for people to do more than just, a traditional role of the past. They can do that plus this, which is exciting because they're looking for that. We're finding more people want to have added exposure and take on different types of opportunities and challenges. And AI and technology and automation and enhancements in systems are enabling that. And, that's a major shift that's really exciting. So, ultimately adaptability has to become a core strength in a company and certainly has in ours.
Well, I want to go back to the beginning. Talk to me about onboarding, the first introduction for a new employee. How do you do it? What are things you avoid? And there's some things you only get one shot at. How do you keep the forward momentum going with a new hire?
Great question. So, specifically around when we look at when we look at our onboarding, we have a very structured approach, but When you're looking at management or site level management and above, we usually have in the final selection process a 90-day plan. So we want the applicant to pitch to us, what's your 90 days look like? And we use that to determine how are they looking at the role? What are they expecting of us? What are they expecting of themselves to deliver? And believe it or not, that becomes a significant piece of the onboarding because, again, that internal customer has already spoken to you about what they're expecting, what they want to see through their first 90. So we incorporate that, but we have our own standardized process where we have a mentorship program. We may connect the individual with a specific member of our team to guide them through. We have very specific protocol with 10 dates on when different milestones need to be met to ensure that we've completed the onboarding to complete satisfaction within the first 90 days. But the onboarding is so critical. No matter what your onboarding consists of, the more robust, the more successful you'll be. But it's so critical because it's like the Pareto principle. It's that 20% that drives 80% of the results. And if they don't come out the gate running, if they're not understanding the culture, the way that we operate, again, really the culture, it's going to be tough to have that fit. And that's one of the most important parts. Like you want to hire for cultural fit and skills. And that cultural fit is incumbent on managers who are hiring these individuals to make sure the onboarding is successful.
Hey, Chris, in a similar kind of vein, in a world where everybody seemingly knows everything, or at least they can find out everything, how do you keep employees on their own career path, and how much of a hand does management have in steering it? What role does transparency, let's say, play?
Well, transparency helps, to build on my previous comment, where we share as much as possible, honestly, about career opportunities and expectations. We've got a great portal called UAP Connect where all of our team can look at career opportunities. They can learn about things that are going on in the company. They get exposure to different teams and different groups, greater knowledge about, really the career paths and what people are currently doing, which helps, connect at a broader level. You look at having locations, coast to coast in multiple towns and cities, and being able to connect, somebody that works in a smaller community with a local regional team or a national team that's working on something. That exposure really helps, show that there's opportunity to learn and grow. So, one of the things we formalized is like a career coach type of role within our people and culture team to formalize a group that can help support people in career planning, also identifying mobility plans, providing exposure on certain projects, and so on. We have a great resources and support for employees to learn about the company and overall different opportunities, but also mentorship and networking are critical. People work for people, so the underlying, at the heart of the career is this underlying culture that makes the biggest impact. And having people look out for other people and help connect them and put them on a career path, is a big part of it. So genuine leadership and being authentic, which we've, invested quite a bit over the years in training our people and providing structure to, be genuine, be who you are, be authentic, and connect with the true values of our company. This structure that we've created around mentorship, we've put a formal process in place to register, so people can go on and register as a mentee. Maybe they don't have that; they're new, maybe they're shy, so they can go on our UAP Connect. They can register as a mentee. We do lots of communication about it, and then select leaders can go on and register as a mentor to be in this pool of people where we can facilitate connections greater than maybe their immediate reach within the company.
That's cool. Paul, how do you manage?
Lorraine, actually, sorry, Lorraine, if you could just add to Chris's point, I just want to say that credit to Chris and your team for all that you put together. But I think career pathways, like in simplicity, we have a creed that says there are different currencies in the world than money. And when you're talking about your team, like, let's just say, for example, you have a technician manager and everything's equal in the marketplace. We're paying top scale. We've got the same benefits. If you have that one piece of currency that doesn't cost you a dollar, costs you commitment in building career pathways for your staff, there's a far higher probability that they're never going to leave you, nor will they want to seek another opportunity. Now, there's a lot there. Management and culture speak a lot. But when you have an organization who's paying you appropriately with the recognition and then supporting you to enlarge your career, that's very, very powerful. And it's free money on the table for operators.
Paul, how do you, a bit of a pivot here.
Mm.
As you manage talent with a lot of different skill sets in the workplace, and we're talking about, for both of you, huge organizations, how do you dispel friction that might arise combining older workers with newer ones? We're at a tipping point in this industry, I believe. So how do you smooth out what could be some bumps or different perceptions?
Absolutely. So I'll say a few things. Number one is, I'll say team alignment, right? So we can all have different paradigms and different views on everything that's happening in the world. But when we're aligned on what we need as an organization to deliver, our paradigm will give us the pathway to get there or how we see things, but we're all aligned in that same strategic goal or that objective, delivering to our customers, delivering greater value to our customers. So that helps. Again, that culture is a safety net that keeps everyone together before we get anyone, how can I say, diverging from forward. But undoubtedly, there are different quote unquote friction points that will come up when you have a millennial dealing with a boomer, for example, if I'm using the right terms. And yeah, they have different paradigms, different outlooks at large. A big part of it is around also communication, education. So to our senior technicians, it's an informal program, but when we have new apprentices coming in, we sit them down and we explain to them, here's the avatar of what these kids, these new employees coming in are like. So here's the flexibility we got to have, and here's the strengths we can leverage. And when you get the team in alignment and you're all focused on that strategic goal because you're all aligned and the reward system's aligned to it, you dispel a lot of friction pretty quick.
Okay, I like that answer. Chris, you touched on this briefly already. How is the role of human resources shifting? You use a different term now. How important are the changes we see taking place in this pivotal role in your organization?
Yeah, it's absolutely critical. It's now about the employee experience, their overall well-being, and the overall organizational culture. HR is central in supporting leadership development and fostering inclusivity. So at UAP, and you heard me say this term, but at UAP we've have actually rebranded our human resources team to people and culture. Our leader Carolyn Tremblay, which has really taken us through a transformation of our HR platform, and was at the core of rebranding to people and culture. And now she's her title even senior vice president of people and culture, which is not just a name shift, but an evolution of our business and people, honestly.
Paul, you're nodding. Are you seeing
No,
similarities?
I mean, I agree wholeheartedly, and I would say that I think today HR, actually, I can believe this way about how we refer to it as talent management, but I believe the discipline of HR, talent management, people and culture has never been more critical. But if you look at any other of our business segments, when you look at operations, processes can be duplicated, technology can be purchased, marketing, I can deploy the same resources as anyone else. But when you have a systemic approach to ensuring you're recruiting, selecting, and retaining the best talent, that's a competitive advantage that takes over 7 years for a competitor to duplicate. And that's 7 years of you running all over them with doing it. So I think HR is more imperative today than ever, but I think that's always been the case. We're just seeing it today.
Okay, Chris, formal mentorships are vital in this industry. This has come up
Mm-hmm.
repeatedly as we do these broadcasts. talk to me about UAP's formal engagement via the Women's BRG. How are you engaging this key sector of new employees and existing ones?
Well, at the core of it's creating a safe space for dialogue and opportunities for women across all levels of the company. It's an open invite to become a member. This group creates mentorship opportunities and brings guest speakers to talk on various topics from both inside and outside the organization on all kinds of subjects to provide exposure in a supportive environment. And, realistically, not all members of the Women's BRG are women. There's progressive thinking, enthusiastic people that want the exposure that's coming through this formal group. And some of the guest speakers, they're talking about all types of challenges and opportunities as you're navigating a career path. Career paths are not linear. There's ups, there's downs, there's left turns, there's reassignments, there's different things. And, creating this structure for people to be able to learn from each other, both within, all coming from within one ecosystem, that's just healthy, and formalizing this group has really built a lot of confidence. We've seen many of the people that are part of this group grow within the company, take on additional assignments, and really it's through the network that's created, and knowing that they're supportive and have a group and really connected with the rest of our people.
Paul, when we spoke earlier, you said to me very enthusiastically, nobody wants to leave me. We don't have a problem with retention. What makes simplicity so great that nobody wants to leave you?
I'll say this. I mean, and just to reframe the point, yeah, attrition rate is so low. I won't lie. The leadership team thought, is there actually something wrong? Like, should we be looking at this differently? And as we dug in, what we really found was the following. As Chris alluded to earlier in this podcast, flexible work scheduling and providing autonomy and empowerment on how people are going to deliver on the objectives is very important. So, when you're looking at the site level, well, the flexibility, we offer flex hours. You could start at 11 and finish at 8 versus your straight 8 to 5. So we have those flex hours. But when we look at the franchise structure at large and our operations teams, where we allow everyone to work from home, like that's not even a question. That's our organization. We're exceptionally decentralized, right? We only have our one head office, which is a boardroom that can't facilitate everybody. And that's another currency that doesn't cost us a dollar, because there's tremendous work-life balance and different opportunities for employees who are working from home with that flex schedule. And I'd also say that in order to ensure that we're delivering on all these objectives, again, it's all about the culture and delivering and communicating and reaching for help if you need it. Otherwise, everyone's expecting that we deliver, and we haven't had a problem yet. So that's just going to share what can happen with human ingenuity, and we just invest in people and make sure that we've got the right ones. Hey, they can achieve anything you need at any point.
Chris, both gentlemen have spoken about how many opportunities are in the auto care sector now, regardless of gender or even where you come from in the world. It's because it's a global industry. Chris, what are the key education requirements going forward? What are you hunting for in workers, and what skill sets are going to be most prevalent as we go forward?
Wow, that's a pretty big question. It really depends on the type of the role, right? If you want to be in finance and accounting, you're going to need to be a CPA. If it's something that's specialized, it's going to need minimum requirements. And I think the education system in Canada is doing a great job preparing people, for professional types of careers. But the reality is that's a small subgroup of our overall employee pool. We're looking for people with the right attitude, the willingness to figure it out, the ability to not take themselves too seriously, that want to come and work for a great place, that can connect with our customers and what we're trying to accomplish, throughout the day to service our clients and create a supportive culture. It's those values that honestly are the most important when we're looking for people. And we're out there across all mediums when we're looking to recruit, whether it's through socials or online or what have you. We're trying to reach out to certain candidates, but skill set, and the people have the ability to figure it out. And when you're going through that interview process, if you got a track record where you face some challenges, you face some adversity, your skills were put to the test. What did you do in that situation? How did you provide a favorable outcome? How did you support the team? How did you overcome an obstacle? And what did you learn from that experience? So, that's really what's key, the ability to learn and grow. We've got the structure, which I know Paul has a structure as well to train people. We've got systems, we've got procedures, we've got the ability to accelerate people once they get into a role, and we've got enough opportunities to stretch people that are looking for more, where we can provide opportunities for them to learn and grow when they get inside the company. And if there's more that needs to be augmented on top of that, we've got partnerships with great local schools, national schools, where there can be outside training, as well as some of our learning management systems have great courses and so on. So they don't have to come. You don't have to be perfect. You apply, you get with the right company, and you're going to get put on the right career path. And we're seeing that happen, and we're continuously working on building the structure internally to be able to develop our people and open up career opportunities for them.
Paul, what do you do if a worker comes to you, and I'm going to come back to Chris on this as well. We hear a lot about AI, that it's changing the way it's changing every single thing that is impacting every one of us every day. How do you quell the trepidation? How do you address the fears when they come up, when someone comes in going, am I going to be replaced? Is this something,
Yeah,
what role is that
great,
play for
great
you?
question. Great question. So I can tell you, we're in I'd say just past the infancy stage on utilizing AI. So we're building AI into our estimatics now through our platform services. We have that in private or personal vehicles. We are now about to bolt on heavy trucks in our AI suite on the estimatics side. But we're also looking at utilizing like this forms of ChatGPT to pull a solution to a problem based on our standard operating procedure. So it's an instant what if and help me tool. And when you look at this, like we've quelled fears because here's how it works. Firstly, we're in the beta. We think we're going to see significant return through this investment in AI. And the return is that we're going to continue to grow, but we're going to freeze our headcount. I'm not looking to remove anybody because I've got just so much confidence in the people in my team. If AI were to come in and, you know, force us to have to relocate somebody, there are abundance of opportunities as we're now acquiring locations. It's very easy for my operations team to become a managing partner. We continue to expand throughout Canada. So we have, and now into the US, there are a ton of relocation opportunities in Simplicity. So we place it first that we're not looking to get rid of anyone. We just want to deepen your capability. But secondly, if there is an opportunity, not unfortunate, unfortunate outcome in AI, but there's a different opportunity to move you to another division, we have an abundance of opportunities, and our staff are really excited about it.
I have never seen so many butts covered so well. That was very well said, Paul. Chris,
Very genuine, I must say. It was altruistic for sure.
Chris, your title is important. Optimizing digital platforms, but also leading the corporate efforts surrounding generative AI and identifying innovations using this rapidly advancing tech. How do you see the future at UAP as you embrace this going forward? Are you in for some huge shifts? Or you could just say what he said and get yourself off the hook. But
No, I'd happily tackle this exciting topic. AI, machine learning, systems. There's a couple ways you can look at it. You can have systems like that which will make us all more efficient. So we all will be supercharged and have the ability to achieve more with our current skill set and current tools. Okay, we're just going to achieve more, and we're seeing that through a platform that we didn't go out to the market and adopt like Chat GPT or Copilot or so on. We did our own secure environment, which is called the Chat GPC, so all of the data stays inside. But we could also put our data into the platform, so our people could ask questions that they may need to know from within the company. Well, this is really helping our coders produce things quicker. It's helping our catalog team with descriptions and images. It's helping our legal team be more efficient at timely responses on legal technical documents and so on. So it's supercharging our people. So you've got that whole side of it from an AI perspective where we're going to become more efficient and we can achieve more with less. That doesn't mean we are physically going to be less from a people. It means we can scale, we can grow, we can offer more, we can diversify, we can do different things in our business that maybe we don't have the capacity for right now. And that's super exciting. The other part of it is, there's going to be opportunities to create other business ventures, business models, expansion in the way we do things that are created around sales and profitability and growth. And that's going to help fund further investment in our business, which is going to create jobs and create opportunity. So, that's the lens at which we're looking at generative AI. We're excited about the prospects of the future. We are being cautious, given my role in the company, I get reached out to by a lot of people that are in development with great ideas and all kinds of things. But, we need to be tactful. We need to make sure there's true value there. We need to make sure we're looking at things from reputable companies with great ideas. And we're going to be cautiously optimistic. We make the right steps where we're leading in our business and doing the right things for our people and our customers, importantly with AI. But yeah, we're pretty excited about what's ahead.
See, I saved the hardest stuff for last, and you both had really great answers, which I really appreciate. I'd like to thank my guests, Paul Prochilo and Chris Kinghorn. The auto care sector is changing almost as fast as it's growing, and I appreciate their insight on retaining valuable employees as the future rushes to meet us. I'm Lorraine Sommerfeld, and we'll see you next time on Curbside Chat. Thanks, both of you.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank you.